Hey, what's up, audience? How's it going? We're gonna record a video real quick about the necessity to onboard on a holistic society. And the holistic society is just like an umbrella term to denote the correct society, basically. Uh, from the corrupt society to the correct society. Corrupt society is society that broke all the natural laws and is not sustainable. It's basically running on a finite resources with the idea that it's infinite. So of course it has to be the opposite. It has to be like there's a finite resources, but you create something that is infinite, and that infinity has to come at sustainability. And infinity is kind of almost the same thing. It has to come from the as small as possible. Like if each homestead is supposed to sustain itself in an infinite manner, right? And then it would have like a backbone from the neighbors, just in case you know there's something like down on luck on one household, there's another one. I'm trying to say, but basically it has to follow from the ground up. Sustainability has to be, and then sustainability has to be backbone by network. So that's why we need to have a network that is nothing to do with the corporate. It's so important to have a network that is nothing to do with the corporate. All the trading, and of course the money is supposed to be nothing to do with the corporate, which is government also. It has to be everything decentralized. This is why sometimes people call it the Web 3.0. Web 3.0, it may sound like, oh, it's just like a little, cooler thing than before. No, it's huge. It's huge. It's the very definition of Web 3.0. It's that it is non-corporate, decentralized networks. That's massive. And applications that you use, imagine you have Uber, but it's non-corporate. It's between P2P. You have Airbnb, but it's not corporate. It's P2P. All of these corporate apps will be replaced by these non-corporate, decentralized apps. And that's why it's so important to start onboarding your digital world onto these new platforms. And I know I'm posting it on YouTube, and YouTube is still a corporate thing, but that's basically like my last place to be. And eventually I'm gonna go into odyssey.com and maybe post some clips on YouTube, because there has to be like a little bridge. If somebody wants to leave, you have to like usher them onto another world, right? So that's why some presence may still be needed in those old corporate social media, but only to usher people in, because you don't use it. Obviously I don't use Instagram, I don't use Facebook. It's trash. It's complete. It's such a cancerous and eroding thing that like I've talked about this before. The degeneration that it encourages, it's disgusting. It corrupts the human soul. So, and some people say like, it's just the app. No, it's not just an app, man. It is not just an app. What is the very code of it is not. The very energy, the very code is not to connect people. Okay, it's to exploit people. And you can see, what does it do? It basically whores and crooks. That's what it glorifies. And this is why you see the prevalence of women are whoring themselves out, and men becoming more and more of a crooks. Because like if you're a crook and you make bank, that's glorified. If you're a whore and you made bank, that's glorified. I'm using these terms, a whore and a crook. Of course, it has a broad spectrum, but like you can clearly see what's going on. That's pretty much masculine corruption and the feminine corruption at its finest. And that is what's incentivized by these applications. Okay? So, I clearly don't belong to that world, and I assume you don't either. Which means that, and by the way, that world will collapse, the whole economy will collapse, which means there is a necessity to have a world that works in a different direction, because there is a very clear the corrupt or correct. There's nothing in between. You can't mix those together. You see what I'm trying to say? You can't just be a little bit there and a little bit here. It just doesn't work like that. Um, and it's not mean. It doesn't mean that, like, for example, um, I use YouTube. You know, it doesn't mean I belong to that. Like, I don't have any kind of ads. I don't have anything. My purpose here on this channel is to usher people onto a new way of life, on a holistic society way of life, and which entails two sides. You have to have physical sustainability, so which is like homesteading, you know, sustainable ranches, permaculture, eco villages, the real eco villages, not just it looks good, but they're actually sustainable eco villages, right? That's where people are going to be living when they're going to leave, once they're going to be burned out from the matrix. That's where they're going to go to recover. And my goal is to have option. My goal is not to fight the matrix, because I know that the best thing to do is to just protect this world, and which is much easier to do than attack. You can have a lot of force and a lot of strength protecting this world. Use all that strength to protect, not to try to fight the matrix. And then when the people are ready to leave, because you can't pull anybody out from it, people have to decide, I want to leave, what is available for me. And so when they make that decision, that's when I want them to see that there are options, and don't think that, like, oh shit, this is doomed, I have to stay in the matrix. No, there are options. You know, there could be like homesteading and eco villages maps all over. You know, locals, you can start connecting with people who are in this. Find your place in the new world, rather than feel like, oh, this shit is doomed and I can't have it. Like, I don't want people to have this type of view. I want people to know that, like, okay, it's available, and if I really need it, it's there. Okay, that's the whole point. But the apps that we use are different. The food that we use are different. It's not corporate. It's locally grown. And what else can I say? And of course, the way we approach emotions are very different. And yeah, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately, those worlds do not mix. And that's why sometimes, you know, if you sort of like, no, you know, I think I'm gonna, you know, I'm used to this, like, I think I'm gonna just stay there, then that's it, you're cut off. You are welcome to stay in the Titanic, you know, you're even welcome to open a restaurant in the Titanic. It's gonna fucking sink, but you're welcome to do so. But I'm interested in the people who are already realizing that they don't want to be part of this shit, that they're excited about this new way of life, and they believe that it's totally possible, because it is possible, it is already existing. It's just that you don't see it on the corporate social media. People are super interested and motivated about this stuff, you see. Anybody with a awakened soul wants this type of way of life. And by the way, this is the only way that is actually sustainable. The thing is, I want to say about this is that the model of sustainable model for the world is basically a network of villages. You can grow past certain point, like I think it's 96 people per village. If you grow past that point, then you need to be policing, and then it's not enough to just have the unit and to resolve the issues on just like normal emotional alchemical facilitation, kind of, not facilitation, but that's not the word, but you just basically work shit out between each other, so you don't let that grow into the resentment and stuff like that. So that's why like a small community can do that. um, if it's larger, then then you need policing, and then it eventually gets into something like metropolitan. Now you say like, well, so what's the point of the cities? The point of the cities is going to be only robots and technological production. Cities are going to produce technology, but it's not going to be a place for the soul. It's not even right now not a place for the soul. It's for the robotic non-player characters, which are sometimes uh, people or bodies with no souls, just like a mechanical thing, or the souls, the souls that checked out, or the souls that are asleep. It's still non-player character. There is might be a soul there attached, but it's not coming out. You know what I'm trying to say? It's perhaps waiting for its time to be activated. But that's what it's for. But I hope that in the future, this are going to be only robots producing technology, which is necessary, but it's not the place for the soul. It's not for people. Cities. That's why I don't believe in cities. It just goes against the very fundamental nature of how everything is supposed to be structured. Like your brain is functioning, right? But there is no big cells, right? There's no clumps of cells, not the clumps, but massive cells. And no, there's a small cells. They're all connected, and the brain is functioning. And there's no boss cell. Decentralization is the boss itself. It's this natural phenomenon that it's self-governed somehow, that you don't need a boss. And in a lot of places you need a boss, but in a society you don't need a boss. For example, you do need a village elder. Of course you do need, the fatherly figure. But overall, when there's no boss of all these villages, they're all connected in a decentralized way. On a small scale, there has to be governance. On the large scale, there is no governance, because on the large scale, the governance is the nature and the universe itself, the natural, spontaneous, self-governant, thing that just happens, and no need to control these little villages. But there has to be some sort of decentralized hub that everybody could interact and barter, connected. Like we all these little villages has to be connected in a way that is decentralized, non-corporate, non-government. Okay. So start being interested in that. Start being interested in growing your own food. If you're ready for this, like if you're on a fence and you're like really motivated and you want to do this, but you think like, maybe I'll just stay there. Don't fucking stay there. Don't stay in the Titanic. Don't just get the fuck out while you can. And so, which means that you have to be belonging to another economy. Okay, and little by little, you got to be working out to have a complete independent economy. And there's many ways that you can do it. One thing you can say, for example, fuck the Instagram, fuck all the metaverse, and don't participate in it. Don't give the energy, and start participating in, for example, in Minds, which is decentralized, which replaces Instagram and Facebook. Mastodon, which replaces Twitter. Okay. So don't belong to the hive mind and start belonging to the universal mind. And also, the quality of life is so much better that through pure quality of life superiority, people are going to be joining. People are going to be joining because, like, okay, I got the status here and like continuous grind and chasing something, and my quality of life is really low, and these motherfuckers are chilling, living large, having fun, and living more luxury life with no money than I live with the money. So who's winning here? So anybody with two cells connected are gonna go like, holy shit, yeah, you know what? I want some of that, and people are little bit start joining, because if there is this transition when people are gonna start joining that new way of life, then the crash is going to be softened. It is not going to be so catastrophic, right? And that's the best that you can do. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. You don't want to crash with the whole thing. You know what I'm trying to say. Um, really put your energy into this one. This is going to be every drop of energy that you put in this one is going to have a massive reward. Okay, and needless to say, the quality of your life is going to skyrocket as well. Okay, there might be some sacrifices that you got to make, you know, like maybe, you know, get the sacrifice is basically nothing, like losing the addiction or dropping the addiction. For example, you may say like, well, how do I get rid of the addiction of scrolling? How do I get rid of, addiction of uh, whatever, man? And the best way to do it is to, while you're doing it, just observe and be very conscious of what you're doing. Actually, this is like a great advice in anything. You got to like look at everything from the certain eye um, of awareness, and it's not done through the will. It's not something like you burn energy for it. No, it's actually just it's a type of relaxation. You just relax into and more present, or it's just words, but there's a state. You go into that state, and in that state, while you're doing it, you're going to be I'm simulating like eating unhealthy food, but while you're doing it, you're gonna be obviously aware of what's going on, and you may even lose, for example, the appetite and eat way less. Or if you're smoking, you may even stop halfway with the cigarette and be like, okay, I don't want. That's the best way. And as you're scrolling as well, start being aware of like, okay, what is going on here? Where am I going with this? And so that may pop the bubble, and you'll be like, holy shit, where the fuck there is this, no that, where the fuck I am going? Okay, and you may be interested in other things which are way more cool. For example, like you know, lucid dreaming, astral projections, and things like that. That has way higher entertainment value than Instagram. And so, and not just entertainment value, it's just also the development of your consciousness value. Okay, and there's so many other things to learn there. And anyway, it's exciting times. Okay, these times could be the most these times could be very exciting, or they could be very challenging, depending on where you put your focus and put your energy. Okay, so make at least one step towards that. I'm doing it too. Every day, every week, I'm making some sort of call to move into that direction. Okay, and peace, and I'll see you in the next one, and I'll see you in the new world.